welcome back to Rating the List, where we review, discuss, and reimagine popular movie lists objectively. We're your hosts, I'm Jerry.
And I'm Brad. And in this episode, we'll be exploring number 41 from AFI's 100 Years, 100 Passions, the 100 Greatest Love Stories of All Time.
All right, number 41 is Funny Girl, released in 1968, directed by William Wyler, starring Barbra Streisand and Omar Sharif.
The synopsis for this movie musical is as follows. Around World War I, Fanny Brice, played by Barbra Streisand, arrives early for her upcoming Ziegfeld Follies performance. She sits down and begins reflecting on the life that has made her famous. Through vast talent and relentless perseverance, Fanny rises from a stage-struck vaudevillian teenager to a Broadway star. Along the way, she meets and falls in love with suave gambler Nick Arnstein, played by Omar Sharif. They eventually marry and have a daughter, Sadie. Fanny's star continues to rise while Nick's various business ventures fail, causing them to lose their country mansion. Nick's continued failures, both in business and in being a supportive husband, cause friction in the relationship. Eventually, after refusing her attempts to help him financially, Nick becomes involved in a bond scam, which leads him to an 18-month prison sentence. He insists they divorce because he isn't good for her. She tells him to wait until he is released from prison, and if he still feels the same, she'll let him go. On the night of his release, they meet and agree to separate. She is heartbroken, but marches on as she always has.
This is a really good movie.
Yep.
First of all, Barbra Streisand is stunning in this movie.
They both are.
They're just the way it's filmed, the film quality, I guess, makes them look perfect, really.
Yeah, and I mean, they have such screen presence, the two of them.
Yeah.
And they have really, really great chemistry, so the whole thing is just like, you buy everything about their relationship.
You really do, and this is like a real woman's story. Right? Like, we've heard this story before.
Well, and it's also based on a real person's story.
Right.
So it's kind of it's a rare musical that's autobiographical.
Mm-hmm. And it's basically the story of this man. First of all, he just kind of wheels and deals. Mm-hmm. And he gets into a hard time. And then he cannot handle his wife being more successful than he is. And to the extreme to where he doesn't want help from her at all.
Well, not only that, he refuses her help, which is in good faith. She believes in what he's doing. And like, if he took this, like, it's basically like he gets this job offer essentially to be like a partner and do something that he'd be really good at, and he refuses it, and then in turn goes to, basically take on, something that's illegal that he kind of knows is illegal, I think. At the time when it's kind of being presented to him, you don't really quite know that it's not on the up and up.
But he tells her that, right? He tells her the truth.
Later.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I mean, like, how fragile does your ego have to be that you'd refuse money from your wife who makes more money than you, and your only option to make yourself feel better is to get caught up basically in what probably sounds like a Ponzi scheme, maybe. I'm not quite sure what the scheme was. It sounds like they were just selling bonds that didn't exist, perhaps. I'm not quite sure, but whatever it was, it caused him to have a federal prison sentence.
But it's crazy because he is the one who starts her career.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I can't believe your talent. Like, you're amazing.
Yeah.
I'm going to help you. Blah, blah, blah.
And she doesn't, like, and it's not one of those situations where, her star rises and she kind of forgets about him. She never forgets about this guy.
Not 1 minute.
She is appreciative of what he gave her, and she never cares about the money. Like, there's like the scene, like we were kind of talking about it, like the scene where he basically comes, tells her, stuff has happened and they're going to have to sell the mansion. She doesn't even blink about it.
She's like, I don't care.
She doesn't care.
She doesn't care.
All she cares about is being with him.
Yeah.
And he can't accept the fact that that's enough.
That's enough for her. Like, she doesn't need anything else.
There's so many, like, I've known some of these guys, and there's so many men that just, they can't take it at face value that the woman who is in love with them is in love with them for who they are, not what they can provide in terms of, you know, money or whatever. What the woman needs them to provide is a stable foundation for a relationship that's built on love and respect. That's what they need.
Well, I think it kind of comes in play to where women for ages have been seen as money hungry, or, oh, I want to be with this man because he has money.
I don't think it's that. I think it's just, that's kind of what the patriarchy is kind of set down, is that, you know, there's this, especially now, there's this false narrative that, you know, especially like now that we've, you know, it's pretty well established in society that you're going to have a 2-income household. We both work, we both provide pretty close to equal financial means, and we split everything down the middle in terms of how we take care of our household. That wasn't kind of the precedent for many, many years. It was man goes out, you know, slays industry, woman stays home, takes care of the home, and, you know, everyone had their role. And it's like, that's one that was, it's not realistic anymore. And two, it wasn't all that great for women in the first place.
No.
There are a lot of women who, look, there are a lot of women who do want to be housewives, and they live that life, and that's great. If that's
awesome. If they can do it, they do it.
If that is the choice that they made, that gives them the kind of fulfillment that some women get from their job in industry, fantastic. But there are plenty of women that were just shoved into that role, forced into that role, and that didn't work for them. And it's kind of, it still pervades to this day. It's like women have much more freedom than they did at the time when Fanny was out there. So most of the women that Nick potentially could have married would have needed him to be, you know,
financially secure. Yeah.
And financially secure and all of that. And she doesn't need that. She needs him in a completely different capacity, and he can't recognize that that's what she needs, and he just can't handle it when, you know, he's and it's weird because he's not bitter about her.
He's glad she's successful.
He's great. He's glad she's successful, but he feels like a failure. And it's like, you just got to get past that, man. She gave you an opportunity. She put out a branch.
But he doesn't get past it.
And he doesn't get past it. And it ultimately is the ruin of their relationship.
And it's really sad because she's like, you know, and, you know, a lot of her advisors and friends that she has are telling her, listen.
Including her mom.
Including her mother. Are like, this guy's gonna drag you down, and like, you're gonna lose your fame and your fortune and your work.
I think that's super realistic. I think a lot of times and woman or man, there's, you know, your kind of your inner circle, that your confidants, they're the first ones to see the thing that's toxic. And you just kind of can't get past the vision of the reason that you got into it in the first place. Like, you saw or projected what you thought was going to be the relationship, even if it never was. But you kind of see the potential for it.
Well, and everybody knew that he like had gambling issues, and he had some flaws, and she never saw that until later on. And then and
I think another thing that goes along with it is, this has always been his life. He's always won money, lost money. Very typical gambler lifestyle. But now, because he's married to someone who's so famous, it's news. Everyone knows about, you know, his ups and downs and all of that. And that he also can't handle that. Is, you know, if you live the life of a gambler, the winning and the losing is going to come and go. And that's just part of your life.
Yeah.
The money doesn't matter. It's just a way to keep score. But now it's like, you know, when he's lost all this money, now it's a tabloid thing, and he's a loser, and that weighs on him. There's
And
just all kinds of stuff here.
She even says, she's like, I will leave this all behind. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I just want us to be together.
Yeah.
And he just can't. He can't. And it was nice to see a movie about a woman where the man is really flawed.
And she is too. She has her flaws.
She's got her issues, right? She's, very
But her flaws are not detrimental to her happiness or her partner's happiness or, the ability to be in a relationship. His are all those things.
Yeah.
And everyone in her life kind of points it out. And she's the last one to see it until the very end.
Yeah, and visually, this movie is very stunning. Very good colors. Costumes are beautiful.
Yeah.
Again, the singing, it's Barbara Streisand, so it's not like,
Yeah, there is a sequel that took place about 6 or 7 years later, which follows her story about 10 years later into the Great Depression era. Not nearly as good a movie. This one is really, really good, though, and it was fun.
It was.
I hadn't seen it in a really long time.
Yeah, and there's this whole thing where she kind of did her own thing, and she loved being funny. She loved being funny, and she could not take herself seriously. So when someone was asking her to do this very serious, feminine thing, she's like, they're gonna laugh at me.
Yeah, so she does it as pregnant, which is
is hilarious. But then she's like, then they're not laughing at me. The joke is we're laughing at the joke, you know. And so she was she's very funny, and Barbara Streisand's great.
Yeah,
she's great in it.
Omar Sharif is great, man. What a presence on screen.
Yes, both of them, just amazing, and they had a lot of chemistry.
I gave this one a 66. Jerry gave it a 72. The list score is 69.
All right. If you have comments, if you've seen this movie, please comment on our post. If you would like to contact us, please contact us through ratingthelist@gmail.com. Please subscribe to our channel. But for now, I'm Jerry.
And I'm Brad.
And we're Rating the List. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.